100 Israeli planes took part in today's strike that took place. There was a series of strikes on military targets, specifically in Iran. 100 Israeli fighter jets, including F-31Is, conducted 2 waves of airstrikes using long-range precision strike missiles. Now, this is the latest that is coming in from the war front. More than 100 Israeli planes took part in today's series of strikes on military targets in Iran. More than 100 Israeli fighter jets were used today. There were 2 waves of airstrikes, and in both these waves, long-range precision airstrike missiles were being used by Israel. Visuals that you are seeing on your screens are coming in from Tehran in Iran. And at the moment, it is 100 Israeli jets used for the attack. One of the big questions everyone now is asking is, where will the war actually end? Because, where do you see all these things ending at the moment? We are seeing Israel maintaining its stance, and every now and then we do see a statement coming out from the IDF saying this is a war, we are fighting because we want to protect ourselves. But also questions are being raised for how long can this go on, because global stability, the stability in the region is also now in question.
Iran fought a war with Iraq for 8 long years, and wars in the region have been very, very long, virtually unending in some instances, or in others, if you were to talk about the 6-day war or the Yom Kippur war, that did not last very long because Israel was able to overwhelm its adversaries that time and then go in for a negotiated settlement. But if you look at the other war that the entire world is talking about, the Russia-Ukraine war that's been on practically now for almost 2.5 years. In February, it will be 3 years of that war. So wars are easy to start and very difficult to finish, because unless you know the end game, unless you know why you're fighting that war, what is your aim, and whether you're anywhere close to achieving your aim, wars just go on and on like the Iran-Iraq war did. In this case, Israel is very clear. It has to take out Iran's ability to target civilians or military installations inside Israel, and that, as General Sehgal rightly pointed out, is easier said than done. Point 1. Point 2, its second aim is to ensure that Hamas and Hezbollah and the Houthis no longer pose a threat to it. As far as Hamas is concerned, step 1, Israel is very clear, and I've got this on authority from some of the top commanders of the Israeli Defense Forces, that they will never let Hamas rule Gaza Strip again. Hamas will never rule Gaza. Whoever administers Gaza, it will not be Hamas, its leaders in any form. So that is their aim. Second, Hezbollah should not be a threat to people living in northern Israel from southern Lebanon. So they will ensure that there is a buffer zone all the way to Litani River. In the past, they left their operations midway, coming under pressure, or they permitted Hamas to rule Gaza under American pressure. They are saying we will not let this pressure work on us either against Hamas or Hezbollah. But Iran is a different kettle of fish, because Iran is a very, very strong military power. It's also a military manufacturing country. It manufactures weapons. It's selling those Shahid drones and long-range missiles to even Russia. And Russia and China are providing satellite imagery on movement of Israel or military hardware of Israel and America to Iran. So that when you know what's happening on the other side of the hill, you're much better prepared. So tackling Iran is very, very difficult, but not impossible, as Israel says. And they want to degrade Iran's capabilities to target Israel through its proxies. So Hamas, Houthi and Hezbollah will be taken down, the Syrian rebels will be taken down, and Iran will be Israel's effort is to weaken Iran to a position that it will just fend for itself, or perhaps orchestrate a regime change if that's possible in Iran. It's one of the game plans. Whether it succeeds or not, we do not know. But maybe people in Iran will rise against the Khamenei is what Israel's wish is. It happens or it doesn't happen, the effort is on.
Right, Gaurav, you're saying the effort is on, and we have also seen Israel has been maintaining that they have not only eliminated Hezbollah leader, but also his potential successors. So as you clearly pointed out, the idea is complete elimination so that these kind of attacks do not happen in future.
So whether it was taking down Ismail Haniyeh, and Ismail Haniyeh was taken out at the presidential palace in Iran when he came for President Masoud Pezeshkian's inauguration or swearing in ceremony, that was a huge blow to Iran. Iran did not strike back that time because Iran and President Masoud Pezeshkian kept saying that we were assured that there would be negotiations and Israel will pipe down, but Israel did not pipe down. But after Hassan Nasrallah was killed, and imagine Hassan Nasrallah, for 3 decades he ruled the Hezbollah. For 3 decades he converted Hezbollah from some ragtag terrorist organization to the world's most powerful militia, a militia that would take on the might of Israel. And in the 2006 war, to an extent they succeeded. They were given long-range missiles, they were given long-range rockets, but Israel also systematically took down the Hezbollah leadership before going after Iran. So right now this battle is in a very, very critical phase. It depends how successful is Israel in taking out Iran's military capabilities. If it's able to ensure that Iran does not have additional long-range rockets or missiles to give to either Hamas or Hezbollah or the Houthis, then Hamas, Hezbollah and Houthis will not remain such a potent threat to Israel. That's point one. Point two, there is another strategy that Israel is following, and this of course is from analysts and from no one else that I have read. The analysts in Israel argue that without degrading environment, or there are ways to take out Iran's oil assets, that it cannot export that oil to the world anymore. And should that happen, even if it has a lot of oil, even if that's not destroyed, it cannot be exported. Now the moment it cannot be exported, the regime will not have money. Those are things that Israel is working on to ensure that you starve the regime of funds if possible. And it depends, whether the regime in America, whether it's the Biden administration or whether it's the Kamala Harris administration that comes in, or a Donald Trump administration, whether they continue to support Israel. If America continues to support Israel, then Iran will be in trouble in the days and weeks ahead.
Gaurav, you made a very important point. You spoke about the economy, and you also said that the idea at the moment is to starve the economy, to make sure that the oil reserves that they have, even if you do not hit the oil reserves, make sure that they do not earn money from it. So do you think, when we speak about Israel, they have been attacked from 360 degrees, from all the sides they are being attacked, but there is a precision with which Israel is now attacking, and the idea being, starve them economically so that the war can go on, and then maybe Israel will have an upper hand.
They're trying a lot. Again, so there are things that Israel does not claim, but there was a big banking attack, a banking crisis that took place sometime back in Iran. There was a cyber attack, and in that cyber attack, a lot of their banking information about data, information about credit card, debit card, a lot of that data was available on the dark web. And if reports are to be believed, of course, Iran will never officially accept this, but apparently Iran paid big money to retrieve some of the data that was available on the dark web. And at the same time, that information is with people who could well be hostile to the regime in Iran. If banking becomes a problem for a country, and imagine if a cyber attack of this nature takes place, there are many ways to bring a country down to its knees without firing a single bullet. But here, not only are bullets or missiles being fired, there's been a cyber attack very recently in Iran against something that Iran has not publicly acknowledged, but some of their nuclear data was apparently compromised. If you recall, in the past several years, a number of Iranian nuclear scientists have been eliminated and neutralized. So, and there are elements within Iran who are very hostile to the regime, to Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Israel could also be orchestrating a regime change, and there are many who could be assisting Israel in that regime change operation. So there is a multi-pronged offensive that a country may mount at a time that suits them best. A cyber attack and a ground attack simultaneously is any country's worst nightmare, and Iran could be witnessing that in phases in the past, present and future. Aishwarya.